Shalom, all praises most high, all praises to his holy name. Well, as I was watching others teach, as I often do, sometimes I hear somebody make one statement and it sparks a thought. When it comes to the Most High's word, it's about obedience over your feelings. Feelings are good too if you have feelings according to his word, according to his thoughts. When it comes to his word, it's good to have feelings about anything. But when it comes to his word, it's only good to have the feelings that's appropriate to his word, meaning your thoughts. For your thoughts are not his thoughts, and your ways are not his ways unless you get it through the precepts. Thinking and what he's really saying. If you're serious about knowing what he actually got to say about the subject. People have their own ideas based on their own ideologies and religious stances. God don't mean this and he don't mean that. He didn't really mean this. He didn't really mean that. But a lot of times the people say that don't give no precepts. Well, Mama and them said. Pastor and them said. But what did God say? What did Yahweh say in the scriptures? He said, believe on me as the scriptures have said. Not on what you think or how you feel. So they were talking on the subject, and they brought up the subject of Samson. And I remember, before I looked at the scripture, I remember Samson's mother and father. See, Samson died unnecessarily. Why? Because he didn't honor his mother and father. Because he took heed to his mother and father, who made a statement in Judges 14:3. Then his father and his mother said unto him, is there never a woman among the daughters of your brethren? Or among my people? He said, no, I want that Philistine woman. See, they was leading him in the right direction. And even among your people, the Most High has to say something about that. Let's hear a couple of scriptures. We're going to see what his thoughts and what he said about the matter. Is he just telling you something because I'm God and I'm bigger and better than you and you better do what I say? Or do you got a reason behind what he says for your good? Let's find out. 1 Samuel 15:22, and Samuel said, has Yahweh as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as iniquity and idolatry. And what happened to Samson behind it? He still Most High got authority out of death because he killed many more Philistines in his death than he did in his life, but he didn't have to die. He died because he honored his mother and his father and his mother, when they gave him instruction. And he didn't honor his mother and father. I mean, he didn't honor his nation. He showed no respect for his heritage or his own race. Let's go on and get some more in the scriptures to support this saying. Tobit 4:12. That's in the Apocrypha. Beware of all whoredom, even in your nation. So don't mess with no hoes, my son. And chiefly, most importantly, after I've taught you about don't mess with no hoes, most importantly, take a wife of the seed of your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Moroni, and Aki, Mormon, Nephi, etc., etc., from the northern kingdom. And take no strange woman to wife, which is not of your father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets. Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers, from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred. That's why I did a study before. They said, well, Moses married this one and Joseph married that one. No, they were Israelites. The scripture tells you that it makes it appear like they're from other nations. They were just Israelites from those other nations because they were spread everywhere. How you know that? This scripture is telling you. Beware of all whoredom, my son. No matter what the woman is, don't marry no hoe. And even more importantly than that, take a wife of the seed of your fathers. And take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of your father's tribe. Honor your father and your mother, for it's the first commandment with promise. That you may remain long in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Yahweh gave you. According to the promises. For we are the children of the prophets. Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. See, the Most High is telling you to do that for a reason. And it's not a religious or feel-good reason. It's because it's based on inheritance to a promised seed. Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Isaiah 46:9. Remember the former things of old. For I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me. You should remember that. Ask your father, and he will show you your elders, and they will tell you. Psalms 44:1. We have heard of with our ears, O God. Our fathers have told us what work you did in their days, in the times of old. When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance. nations, their inheritance. Acts 17, 26 through 27. And he has made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth. He's talking about the children of Israel, because I'm the God of Israel and none else. I'm in their midst. Each tribe is considered a nation. And has determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation, that they should seek Yahweh, if happily they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us, the 12 tribes of Israel. Man, why y'all trying to make it seem like he's talking about the 12? Because he is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. I ain't trying to do nothing. I'm reading it to you. When the Most High divided their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bond of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. All the children of Israel. The foreign nation of God, foreigners of God. That's why when you read Webster and when they say race, he said all of the children of Adam. But when you talk to the children of Israel, you're talking about the race of Abraham and Jacob. Because the righteous and the wicked were separated out of Adam, and the wicked came under Cain, and the righteous came from Adam and skipped Abel, who was murdered by Cain, and continued in Seth on down to the Israelites. Doctrine and Covenants 122 and 9. Therefore, hold on your way, and the priesthood shall remain with you. For their bounds are set. They cannot pass. Your days are known, and your years should not be numbered less. Therefore, fear not what man can do, for God shall be with you forever and ever. For our nation, the foreknowledge of God. And Samson's mother said that we are the children of the prophets. And you shorten your days and you're taken away from your blessings when you've been disobedient by marrying other people who is not numbered among us, because they're not the children of the prophets. And they have no promise. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Why? Because I am the way. To give you the truth, they're going to lead to eternal life through obedience. But you want to be like Samson and do it your own way. Yeah, the Most High still love you, still with you. He'll come back, but you might have to die for it. When you didn't have to die. Because you were disobedient. When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. And this wasn't a premeditated message, because I wasn't even going to bring a message today. But you never know what the Most High might do. You just had to be ready to go to work. Inheritance. Numbers chapter 36. Some daughters in Israel are directed to marry within their own tribe. Inheritances are not to move from tribe to tribe. That's why I told you in the Seal Book of Mormon that the head tribe, Ephraim, is going to portion out the other tribes their inheritance right here in America from the treasury. And everything else is ours by right, by inheritance from the Most High. And that's why he said you must do what he tell you so you can be in line to receive the blessing. But you said, no, that doesn't matter. So since you said it don't matter, what if you say, well, okay, it don't matter to you because you're disobedient, so I'll just make sure I'll give somebody else an extra portion. And you see if Esau going to give you his portion. Or whoever else you marry, he told you to marry, not to marry. Obedience is better than sacrifice. The header reads, some daughters in Israel are directed to marry within their own tribe. Inheritances are not to move from tribe to tribe. Numbers 36:1. And the chief fathers of the families of the children of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of the son of Joseph, came near and spake before Moses and before the princes, the chief fathers of the children of Israel. And they said, Yahweh commanded my deliverer to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my deliverer was commanded by Yahweh to give the inheritance of Zelophehad, our brother, unto his daughters. Numbers 27:1-11. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, the son of Joseph. And these are the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, and Haglah, and Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses and before Eleazar the priest, and before the princes of all the congregation, by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, and he was not in company of them that gathered together against Yahweh in the company of Korah, but died in his own sin, and has no sons. See? Why you daughters got to be obedient? Because you didn't even know that, I bet you. If father had no sons, they got to go to somebody. But what's going to happen if you marry another nation? Most High ain't going to have his inheritance go to another nation. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Why should the name of our father be done away from among his family? Because he has no son. Give unto us, therefore, a possession among the brethren of our father. And Moses brought their cause before Yahweh. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak right. You shall surely give them a possession of an inheritance among their father's brethren. You should cause the inheritance of their father to pass unto them. That's if they don't have any brothers. or if the father don't have a son left. And you shall speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a man die and have no son, then you should cause his inheritance to pass on to his daughter. That's why it's important for the daughter to honor their father. You've been disobeying to the father, you've been disobeying to the son, to the heavenly father. He ain't gonna bless you with no inheritance. And if you have no daughter, then you should give his inheritance unto his brethren. And if you have no brethren, then you should give his inheritance to his father's brethren. And if his father have no brethren, then you should give his inheritance to his kinsman that is next to him of his family. That's why Yahweh gave us all a inheritance. He's the kinsman redeemer, the ones who obey him. See, this is not about like the Church of Christianity and all these other religions tell you, everybody's involved. And he died very, no, it's about the family. He's making it plainer and plainer to you. We are the literal descendants of Messiah, the kinsman redeemed. And if his father have no brethren, then you should give his inheritance to his kinsman that's next to his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be unto the children of Israel a statute of judgment, as Yahweh commanded Moses. And they said, Yahweh commanded my deliverer to give the land for an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel. And my deliverer was commanded by Yahweh to give the inheritance of Zephaniah, our brother, and to his daughters. And if they be married to any of the sons of another tribe of the children of Israel, then their inheritance be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and should be put to the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall it be taken from the lot of our inheritance. Hebrew added. Numbers 36:4. And when the jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So if you got a daughter who is from Ephraim, marries somebody from Judah, then her portion, because the father has no sons, gonna have to go to the tribe where her husband is at, in Judah. Or wherever tribe. That's why he told you in the beginning, he said some daughters are not to go to marry from tribe to tribe. They're going to stay in the tribe that they belong to. But you try and take inheritance and put them in other nations. He ain't having that. So shall the inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And when the jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, Leviticus 25, 1-55. And Yahweh spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when you come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yahweh. 6 years shall you sow your field, In 6 years you shall prune your vineyard and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year you shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for Yahweh. You should neither sow your field nor prune your vineyard. That which groweth of itself according to your harvest, you should not reap, neither gather the grapes of your vine undressed. For it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you and for your servant and for your maid and for your hired servant and for the stranger that sojourneth with you. And for the cattle and for the beasts that are in your land, shall all the increase thereof be meat. And you should number 7 Sabbaths of years unto you, 7 times 7 years. The space of the 7th Sabbath of years shall be unto you 49 years. Then shall you cause the triumph of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall you make the trumpet sound through all the land, coming up on the 10th of this month. And you'll hallow the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land. That's what we've been doing all this time. Unto all the inhabitants thereof, and it should be a jubilee unto you. And you should return every man unto his possession, and you should return every man unto his family. A jubilee shall that 50th year be unto you. And you shall not sow neither reap that which groweth of itself, nor gather the grapes of your vine undressed. For it is the jubilee. It shall be holy unto you. You shall eat the increase thereof out of the field. In the year of this jubilee, you shall return every man unto his possession. So on the 10th of this month, I'll be blowing the ram's horn. And if you sell aught unto your neighbor, and buy aught of your neighbor's hand, you should not oppress on one another. Talking about your brother, Israel. According to the number of years after the Jubilee that you shall buy of your neighbor, and according to the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto you. According to the multitude of years, you shall increase the price thereof. And according to the fewness of years, you shall diminish the price of it. For according to the number of years of the fruits does he sell unto you. You should not therefore oppress one another, but you shall fear your God, for I am Yahweh your God. Wherefore you shall do my statutes and keep my commandments, my judgments, and do them. And you shall dwell in the land in safety. And the land shall yield her fruit, and you shall eat your field, and dwell therein in safety, right here in North America. And if you shall say, what shall we eat the 7th year? Behold, we shall not sow nor gather in our increase. Then will I command my blessing upon you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth fruit for 3 years. And you shall sow the 8th year, eat yet of the old fruit until the 9th year, until her fruits come in, you shall eat of the old store. The land shall not be sold forever. The righteous, the rich store up wealth for the righteous, called old money. in the treasury. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. For you are strangers and joiners with me. Now what do he say now? They say by necessity, you're no longer strangers and sojourners, you're sovereign. Able to come back to the land that you were removed from. Meaning strangers and sojourners. The end of the verses, the end of doctrine discovery. And in all the land of your possession, you shall grant a redemption for the land. If your brother be waxing poor and has sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which is his brother's soul, his soul. Then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and he himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that bought it until the year of Jubilee. And in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return to his possession. If a man sell a dwelling house in a walled city, and I'm gonna go ahead and read all this again. Maybe if Most High say the same, maybe tomorrow, unless he give me something else with the precepts. But we're not doing it today because this is a precept. And if it be not redeemed within the space of a full year, then the house that is in the walled city shall be established forever to him that bought it throughout his generations. It should not go out in the Jubilee. But the houses of the villages, which have no wall round about them, should be counted as the field of the country. They may be redeemed, and they shall go out in the Jubilee. Notwithstanding the cities of the Levites and the houses of the cities of their possession, may the Levites redeem at any time. And if a man purchase of the Levites, then the house that was sold in the city of his possession shall go out in the year of Jubilee. For the houses of the cities of the Levites are theirs possessions among the children of Israel. But the field of the suburbs of their cities may not be sold, for it is their perpetual possession. That's the priesthood. For if your brother be waxing poor and falling into decay with you, then you shall relieve him. Yeah. Though he be a stranger or a sojourner, he's talking about the Israelite. That's what we were before they declared the end of dumb diversions and doctrine discovery. Now we're sovereign. We never stopped being sovereign. It's just that through ignorance and through that dumb diversion and doctrine discovery, they said we wasn't sovereign, and they put out color of law and different things to say we wasn't. It's in it though, by necessity. And though he be a stranger or sojourner, that he may live with you. Take you no usury of him or increase, but fear your God, that your brother may live with you. You should not give him your money upon usury, nor lend him your victuals for increase. I am Yahweh, your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. If your brother that dwelleth by you be waxing poor and be sold unto you, you should not compel him to serve as a bondservant, a slave, but as a hired servant. See, this kind of slaves we had in Israel. We didn't have no slaves. We just had brethren who fell on hard time and they just worked there. They worked for us, otherwise helped out around the land till they got back on their feet. But they were not slaves. That's the only kind of slaves we had. They were not slaves, they were bondservants. Israel didn't take other Israelites into slavery. But as a hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with you and shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from you, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondsmen, slaves. You shall not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear your God. Both your bondsmen and your bondsmaids, which you shall have, shall be of the other nations that are around about you. And that's why Most High said, don't marry him. Because they ain't got no portion of this inheritance. Of them shall you buy bondsmen and bondsmaids, slaves. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall you buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begot in your land, and they shall be your possession. This is God himself talking. And you take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. See, that's what they did to us. That's why the Most High said, I'm going to do unto you as you've done unto my children. They should be your bondsmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, you should not rule one over another with rigor. And if a sojourner or a stranger wax rich by you, and your brother that dwelleth by him wax poor, and set himself unto the stranger or sojourner by you, or to the stock of the stranger's family, after that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brothers may redeem him. That's why that's the purpose behind Messiah coming. Because you sold yourself for naught through sin and iniquity. He paid the price for sin to redeem you. But you got to receive it or not. By faith. Good faith. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him of his family may redeem him. So when he says the kindred redeemer, he's only talking about the children of Israel, his family. Or if he be able, he may redeem himself. And he shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold to him unto the year of Jubilee. And the prices of his sales, that's why I said, we ain't got to pay nothing. He paid already from the foundation of the world. He paid from the day when he said it was finished. And the price of his sale shall be according to the number of years. According to the time of an hired servant shall it be with him. If there be yet many years behind, according to them, he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. And if there remain but few years unto the year of Jubilee, then he shall count with him the end of 400 years, 2019. The end of European meddling and predation in America. 2020, the Roman Catholic Pope took up the title of Vicar of Christ. The 10th day of this month, going to be blowing of the trumpets. And as a yearly hired servant shall he be with him, and the other shall not rule with rigor over him in his sight, in your sight. And if he be not redeemed in these years, then he shall go out in the year of Jubilee, both he and his children with him. For unto me the children of Israel are servants, found out angels, ministers. And they are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. That's why Samson's mother and father told him, we're the children of the prophets, the angels. The Most High servants. For unto me the children of Israel are my servants. They are my servants whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh, your God. So tomorrow, you say the same. I'll bring that to you once again with precepts. Leviticus 25, 1 through 55. All right. We're not doing it today because this was a precept. And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put unto the inheritance of the tribe, once they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. So let's say, for instance, let's say if he was talking to the church, well, you said all people can be saved. How are you going to break down the inheritance for all these other people that's not children of Israel? He's not, because they're not the children of Israel. That's false doctrine. Leviticus 25 and 46. And shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondsmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, you should not rule one over another with vigor or rigor. The Most High is talking about race, nation. That's why NIV told you what Paul said, my race, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, are my brother. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of Yahweh, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph has said well. This is the thing which Yahweh does command concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. If you wanted a piece of inheritance, you better marry, like he said. So sometimes you don't know what he means when he's saying it. He says, better just to obey. Because I think good thoughts towards you. And your thoughts not my thoughts. But I'm sharing your thoughts today concerning why it's important not to marry other people outside of your race. I'm just keeping it blunt and plain. That's not a racist statement, but the Most High is making this statement. Numbers 36 and 7. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribes of his fathers. And they go into honoring your father and your mother, which is the first commandment promise, to keep you long upon the land which the Most High has promised us. And when you do it contrary to what he said, you try to remove yourself from the land. From the inheritance. And every daughter that possesses an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribes of her father, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man the inheritance of his fathers. What if you disrespecting your father? See? Better be careful. Neither shall the inheritance remove from one tribe to another. But every one of the tribes of the children of Israel shall keep himself to his own inheritance. That's why he's trying to send you back to Africa, and you ain't never came from Africa. That's why I'm telling you, I'm an American Israelite from the house of Joseph, from the tribe of Ephraim. And Ephraim is my firstborn, says Yahweh. Israel is my firstborn, according to inheritance. Why? Because Joseph got the double portion. Even as Yahweh commanded Moses, so did the daughters of Zelophehad, for Mahlah, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Miklah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married unto their father's brothers' sons. And they were married into the families of the sons of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of the family of their father. These are the commandments of the judgments. These are the commandments and the judgments which Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moses unto the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. Judges 14. See, Samson didn't marry an Israelite. They had to read Samson slays a young lion with his bare hands. He marries a Philistine wife. Propounds a riddle. Is deceived by his wife. And slays 30 Philistines. And Samson went down to Timnah and saw a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said to him, is there never a woman among the daughters of your brethren, among all my people, that you go to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? Interfaith marriage. Genesis 34 and 14. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. So you marry these other nations, the Most High said don't marry. You're a reproach unto the Most High and to his people. And you're giving away your inheritance. But his father and his mother knew not that it was Yahweh that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. See, Yahweh was behind Samson doing that. Why? Samson was a judge. Joshua 11 and 20. For it was Yahweh to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle. He might destroy them utterly, that they might have no favor. That don't mean you still going to go marry them, though. He just used Samson for that occasion. Why? The beginning of the story said, if you would give me a son, I'll give him to you. That's what his mother said. So the Messiah found fit to use Samson for that purpose. But he still means don't go marry them other nations. And you not Samson. And that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them, as Yahweh commanded Moses. Same thing he did to Pharaoh. For at that time, the Philistines had dominion over Israel. Judges 15 and 11. Then 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of the rock Etam and said to Samson, knowest you not that the Philistines are rulers over us? Same thing they saying today, don't they? Everybody listen to them, we in captivity. We in captivity. No, we not. The Most High has delivered us already. But because of sin, the elect have attained and the rest were blinded. And because of sin, it don't appear to be all at once all the time. What is same thing when Joshua and Caleb said we can take the land, and what the others say? No, we can't, they too tall, they big enough. That's why he has an elect. The elect don't talk like that. What is this that you have done unto us? And he said to them, as they did unto me, so have I done unto them. Same thing the Most High said he's going to do to them too. That's why he said don't marry him. Then went Samson down and his father and his mother to Timnah and came to the vineyards of Timnah. And behold, a young lion roared against him. And the Holy Spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon him. And he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hand. But he told it not his father or his mother what he had done. Verse Nephi 17 to 18. But it came to pass that I prayed unto Yahweh, saying, O Yahweh, according to my faith, which is in you, will you deliver me from the hands of my brethren, even give me strength that I might burst these bands with which I am bound. And it came to pass that when I had said these words, behold, the bands were loosed from off my hands and feet. And I stood before my brethren, and I spake unto them again. See, let's go back to that white stone. You can't say you Samson because you're not. Samson received the assignment he was given. You weren't given that assignment. So he said, don't marry. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And after a time, he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hand, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother. And he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. So his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast. For so used the young men to do. Genesis 29:22. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you. If you can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then will I give you 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment, linen garments or tunics. Judges 14:13. But if you cannot declare it me, then shall you give me 30 sheets and 30 changes of garments. And they said unto him, put forth your riddle, that we may hear it. But if you cannot declare it me, then shall you give me 30 sheets and 30 changes of garment. And they said unto him, put forth your riddle, that we may hear it. And he said unto them, out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. They cannot in 3 days expound the riddle. And it came to pass on the 7th day, they said unto Samson's wife, entice your husband, that he may declare us the riddle. Showing you right there, she's from their nation. She's more loyal to them than she was to Samson. Judges 16:5. And Yahweh, and the lords of the Philistine came up unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength lies, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. and we will give you every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. Lest we burn you and your father's house with fire. Have you called us to take that we have? Is it not so? Judges 15:6. Then the Philistines said, who has done this? And he answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire. And Samson's wife wept before him and said, you do but hate me and love me not. You have put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and has not told it me. And he said unto her, behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother. And shall I tell you? They putting races against each other right there in their own marriage. Judges 16:15. And she said unto him, how can you say I love you when your heart is not with me? That's the same thing happens when a woman divorces, when you go through a divorce with your husband or your wife, depending on if you're righteous on what side you on. As soon as that man or that woman goes into another woman or man and tell you stuff like, you know what they tell you, because I don't want to seem like I'm accusing nobody. They hard as far family. They already divorced. They with that other person. And she said to him, how can you say I love you when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times and not told me wherein your great strength lies. And she wept before him the 7 days while their feast lasted. It came to pass on the 7th day, they told her, because she lay sore upon him, and she told the riddle to the children of her people. She pressed him hard. And the men of the city said to him on the 7th day before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion? And he says to them, if you had not plowed with my heifer, you had not found out my riddle. He said, he knew who told him. And the Holy Spirit of Yahweh came upon him, and he went down into Ashkelon and slew 30 men of them and took their spoil and gave change of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled. And he went up to his father's house. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. The Most High says it's better to be obedient, because he thinks good thoughts towards you. He don't just tell you stuff to do stuff because he say this because I want you to do it. You just go ahead and do it. No, he has a plan behind it that's tied into his covenant of promise. And that's why he tells you to do things. And that's why I said your disobedience is a sin of witchcraft. So, once again, the word has been given. You can obey it or not.